The moment the millionaire stepped out of the car, he knew something was wrong. His mother's eyes, once bright, loving, and full of life, now carried a silent plea for help. And when he finally discovered what his wife had been doing behind his back, his entire world shattered in a single heartbeat. But this story doesn't begin with betrayal. It begins with a promise, one he had forgotten, but life forced him to remember. His name was Daniel Hart, a self-made millionaire who had clawed his way out of poverty, working day and night until he lived in glass towers instead of dusty rooms. But success came with distance, and distance came with consequences he didn't yet understand. His mother, Evelyn, had raised him alone, every meal, every sacrifice, every bruise hidden behind a smile. She had taught him that love was the only wealth that mattered. Yet now, years later, he had allowed his fortune to build walls around him, walls even she could not climb. Chapter 1. It started with a trembling phone call. "Danny, come home." Her fragile voice cracked, and his chest tightened. She never asked for anything. Never. So Daniel cleared his schedule, something he hadn't done in months, and drove hours to the old house on the hill where he grew up. He walked in expecting warmth. Instead, he found cold air and an even colder feeling creeping up his spine. His mother sat in her favorite chair, but she wasn't smiling. She winced with every movement as if even breathing hurt. Her skin looked pale, her hands shaking as she tried to hide them under a blanket. "Mom, what's going on?" he whispered. She forced a smile. "Just old age." But his gut said otherwise. And then, like a shadow appearing behind him, his wife, Clarissa, stepped out of the kitchen. She was elegant, polished, and always perfect, too perfect. She placed a hand on Evelyn's shoulder almost possessively. But the older woman flinched. Daniel saw it. Clear as day. "Why did she flinch?" he asked quietly. Clarissa's smile tightened. "She's just weak. Fragile bones. You know how old people are." But he didn't know. Because he hadn't been there to know. Days passed, and Daniel stayed, canceling meetings, ignoring calls. He watched the house. He watched his mother. And he watched his wife. Something was off. At night, he heard muffled sobs from his mother's room. And once, just once, he heard Clarissa's voice through the door, sharp and cold, nothing like her sweet public persona. "Stop complaining. You should be grateful we even let you stay here." Let you stay? His mother? His own mother? Daniel froze in the hallway, heart pounding as Evelyn whispered, "Please, it hurts," and then silence. The next morning, he confronted his mother gently, but she shook her head. "It's nothing, Danny. Don't worry." But her eyes looked away, hiding something he was afraid to discover. So he waited. And watched. The truth came when he installed a small camera in the living room while everyone slept, careful not to wake anyone. The next afternoon, while pretending to work on his laptop, he checked the live feed. His blood ran cold. Clarissa was standing over his mother, holding her arm, the same arm Evelyn had been clutching in pain for weeks. She squeezed it hard, digging her nails into the fragile skin. Evelyn whimpered, "You ruin everything," Clarissa spat. "He was supposed to choose me. Not you. So stop pretending to be sick and making him stay home." Daniel's vision blurred. His fingers trembled with rage. His mother whispered, "I never wanted him to choose." That broke him. The next moment, he stormed into the living room. Clarissa jumped back, eyes wide, but it was too late. Daniel had seen everything. "Touch her again," he said, voice like steel, "and I swear you'll regret it for the rest of your life." Clarissa tried to speak, tried to twist her lies, but Daniel wasn't listening. He was looking at his mother, really looking at her, for the first time in years. And he saw the truth. She had been suffering in silence while he chased money, thinking it was for her. But she never wanted wealth. She wanted him. As he carried her to the car to take her to the hospital, she whispered, "I didn't want to bother you." He choked back tears. "You're not a bother. You're my mother. And I'm so sorry." That night, by her bedside, He held her frail hand and realized how far he had drifted from the only person who ever loved him without conditions.